The year is 1444 after the Ashen Skies. We musk-mouthed ogres have lived in our swamp for 2,000 years. Our ancient creators, the giants, are long gone. Our kingdom collapsed hundreds of years ago. These days, only scattered clans and family units live in the swamp. But Chief Shrug of the Mire Maw clan sees an opportunity. With the orcs gone on some crusade, the Serpentspine Mountains are depopulated and weak. It is time to remind the Serpentspine to fear the giant kin. Welcome. Today we're starting a new playthrough. We're playing as Mire Maw. I hope you liked the introduction. I had to improvise it a little because normally I would write it based on the start screen, which tells you about the country's history and current situation. But as you can see, in this case, it's empty. And the religion is also empty, which is very unusual. I'm not sure I've seen that before. Most countries have a lot of information here, but in this case, there is none. We are playing as Mire Maw, and our ruler is the great Chief Shrug Mire Maw. He's a 3/3/5 expansionist. Pretty cool. He has a son that's a 5/4/5, so quite good. He's only 6 years old. And a strict chiefess. We don't have any government reforms because we need to reform our religion first. Our government is tribal. We are clan. A settled horde, which gives us 30% national manpower, 20% land force limit, 30% reduced land maintenance, 15% fort maintenance, 25% fort defense, -2 diplomatic relations, -30% institution spread, 20% movement speed, 35% cheaper reinforced cost, and -25% reform progress growth. I would say that's kind of a militaristic focus, but we of course don't have any neighbors. We are living here in the swamp all by ourselves. We can't see anyone. These provinces are inhabited by other ogres, so we will send our colonists and convince them to join us. Let's repress them, make our colonies work faster. We are ogres, so we have 50% cheaper harsh treatment, 30% better spy detection, unrest reduced by 2, fort maintenance -20%, forts are 20% cheaper, 10% goods produced, and -10% liberty desire. Tech cost +5%, improved relation -30%, state maintenance +25, spy network construction -20, and global trade power -10. Bit of a mixed bag, I would say. Some good, some bad. And our ogre military, 25% shock damage, 15% shock damage received, 15% recover army morale, 10% siege ability, 20% reduced land attrition, but 10% global regiment cost, 50% recruitment speed, land force limit reduced by 20%, manpower recovery speed reduced by 15%, movement speed -10, cavalry to infantry ratio -25, and cavalry flanking ability -50, and then global ship cost +10. We have Reclaiming the Dwarvar, which gives us a colonist and increases the chance of uprisings and reduces their assimilation. The Dwarvar is no simple reclamation. It must hunt through blood and steel. We will have to beat them up a bit before they join us, even though they're ogres. And then we have this amazing bonus, Dwarvar Claimer, 30% morale of armies, 10,000 extra manpower, 50% manpower recovery speed, 10 extra land force limit, -75% land maintenance, 50% extra national supply, and then -50% conductiary. We will claim the Dwarvar with blade and blood. We will lose this if we declare a non-coalition offensive war on a country outside the Serpentspine continent. That is a very powerful bonus. That means we are actually making money. Of course, as soon as the colony starts, that will cost us 2 ducats, so we will be back at 0. But let's enjoy it for a few days. We will definitely study conjuration. It's just very good when you colonizing. And let's look at our estates. Because we are a monstrous nation, we only have 2 estates, the tribes and the mages. And let's give them great autonomy, promise new lands. I want to make them a little bit more loyal, so let's just give them the land rights right away. Even though we don't need the gov cap, we can reduce uprising a little bit with magical exploration. That might be the only thing we can really do. And for this mission, we need 12,000 troops, and the monsters must be loyal. Let's sell titles. Use that money to buy the troops. Before we unpause, let's look at our national traditions. We have -2 unrest and -5 years of separatism. Feels quite nice because it stacks with the ogre administration. So we should have very little unrest, hopefully. Let's see. Also want to look at our religion, we believe in Feast of the Gods. Known as Iskerak Vulshaw in Ogrish, the ogres believe that they gained their strength and stature from devouring their old gods, the true giants, and that by devouring the strong and wise, they can inherit their power for themselves. So I read on the wiki that we actually used to have a different religion, but some ogres migrated from the east, and they had this Feast of the Gods religion, and eventually everyone converted, and the original religion is lost. So I thought that was a little bit of cool extra knowledge. We got a positive event here, a new settlement. We can gain 100 more population here. I think that is very nice. Okay, now we have 12,000 troops. So let's look at this. Tribes are loyal. They are also very influential. And we have 12,000 troops. Tribal consolidation. Tomorrow. Another time. Get out of my glen. Stay out of my fetid lake. I'm busy growing lichen. 100 excuses for staying apart, away, disorganized, but no more. The sky-piercing mountains warble with harsh winds, portending great change. At least, that is what our chief decrees. Our tribe refused to stir when we bellowed, so they shall jump when we bludgeon their kneecaps. Only then can Mire Maw's sluggish heart beat. Bringing the veil to heal necessitates aggression and violence, and we aim to oblige. Starting with our lazy tribes. We gain consolidated tribes for 50 years, which gives us 5% settler chance and plus 50 global settler increase. It's very significant. That's double the speed from this, and then also increase in settler chance. We are almost ready to do the next mission. We need to develop our capital twice. So let's do one diplo click and one admin click. So now it has 15 development. We are focusing goblins, and we are not purging or expelling them. The fern munchers. The grand jellied swarms of the Serpent's Veil yoink the little things that attack us into their sloppy depths. Too shallow a stance, too short a stride, too frail a frame. Only by our size do we reside in our homes undisturbed, save the odd reckless turned food. But the little things had even littler things frittering among their surviving numbers. For a long time now, these yet crotty, or goblins, have scampered about on refuse and peat like blighting crocodiles, scavenging from our cozy lives for no moss off our backs. Nimble and slick, these little things begged and pleaded over many moors with simple broken squawker. Goblin, goblin friend! Our bellies rumbled, but our brains churned. Can food be friends? Or at the very least supplicants? We granted mercy, a modicum of the peace and quiet we enjoyed. And look at them now! They fear our girth, laud their position in our order as the smallest and weakest, and even call themselves by new family names. Mouth smashers, poison blade, bug anchor, too many for our attention. We simply refer to these goblins as fern munchers. Just as the mighty giants commanded us to accentuate their greatness, we can do the same to these littler things. In fact, a particularly fearsome goblin, starry-eyed and reverent, yearns to see all ogres in the valley beneath one unstoppable banner. Might we elevate this lowly fern muncher into a paragon of the littler things? That gave us 50 support for feudalism in our capital, and we gain a conquistador guess poison blade, and it gives us a small tolerance increase of goblins. They were already coexisting. I think we have a mission that requires us to discover the entire Serpent's Veil. That's this swamp area. Let's get our conquistador going. Start with this little cave. Actually lost kind of a lot. Guess poison blade became a defensive planner. We should probably seize land. Loyalty can be low for a little while. So we've done this mission. So these are the Shattered Crown clan. They are black orcs. They're probably quite strong. 15,000 troops. They live in this ancient dwarven ruined city. By the way, I really love these ogre models. They are so cool. They look so good. The swamp provinces, they are sparsely populated with ogres, but this tunnel province probably gonna have a lot of orcs in it. was fine. Province produces fur. It's really bad trade good, but very likely in this area. We've now explored the entire Serpent's Vale, so we can do this mission. Mapping the Mire. Just as quickly as they departed, our fern munchers scampered back into our mighty bark capital, straining to gain our ear. They shared that their tiny feet carried them around the entire vale, noting each standing stone, ogre clan and migrating fauna pack. We never thought these Yetquati would travel so far, so quickly, and surprisingly, so quietly. Transcribing their maps onto barkskin and boulders, we now behold the vastness of the entire valley. So many Skurkoli, cousin tribes stuck in their ways, ready for our rule. We need only bring them to heel. That will give us a permanent claim on the region and 10 prestige, and we gain settlement scouted for 35 years, giving us minus 25 development cost and an extra colonist, and we can recruit explorers and conquistadors, and we gain a colony cost modifier of minus 25%. That is very, very good. We still cannot afford to use the second colonist, can we? But I also don't want to waste the modifier. I think we need to kill these guys. I'm a little worried. I imagine orcs will have a strong military. They definitely have more development than we have. Probably focus on Miltech. By the way, do you have feudalism? Yes, you do. I mean, gaining 50 support for feudalism is nice and all. Trying to develop feudalism here seems pretty rough. Let's summon the familiars so we can get the research done a little bit faster. I think there's nothing to do but wait. Let's send our extra colonists out. We're going to be losing money for a little while, but I think it is good. We gain a positive event here. That is actually really nice. Some extra settler increase, because right now we desperately hope... Oh, a vast horde of cave goblins have attacked Anbennar Hatsvi. Already our defense are being put to test. They will not hold forever. If we are to destroy this menace, decisive action must be taken to the defense of our hold. There's certainly not that many of them. We're losing a lot of money now. Can't go to low maintenance. We need to be ready to defend. Maybe we're losing too much money. You want us to hire a mill advisor and not be running a deficit. You want us to develop 2 times in our capital. Very expensive, but maybe we do have to do it. Give us a little bit extra money. We can gain a cheaper advisor. Even cheaper advisor is not good. Take 7 ducats instead of a cheaper advisor. And Chief Shrek is now a fierce negotiator. So we have cheaper mercenaries. That could be necessary if we need to hire mercenaries to beat the Black Orcs. That is totally possible. Made a deal with the natives. It's always good. 1. We can barely afford it. This one produces gems. That is quite good, paid good. Unfortunately, I believe this mission will change it to livestock. It's kind of a downgrade, but we can enjoy the gems for a little while. Again, we can gain military engineer or trader. We can just make them integrated. Let's make them integrated. Feels bad that we can't even afford a discounted level 1 advisor. That's our situation. No, we should totally send a merchant here, collect some money. Every little bit helping. We will just barely finish this colony before we run out of money. We're missing 21 settlers, so I don't think we need to pay 30. Well, we do get 5% settler chance and 1 global settler increase everywhere. Is that worth taking a loan? Here we get minus 10, so it's actually a difference of 11 settler increase. We can also sell titles again. I think we should just do that. It's a little bad, just sell titles. We will send colonists in here. We do want to do this mission, but maybe we keep our bank alive for a little while. Don't really think we can afford a fort right now. And since there's a lot of natives in the tunnel, we put general over there. I want to neighbor them so I can get feudalism. I don't know if that's the right call. That seems right to me. We want to get feudalism as soon as possible, and developing it in our capital seems a little crazy because it's so expensive. And then we need to beat these guys up. Look at that. They're much stronger than last time I looked. At 15,000 last time. Now they have 23. It's because all of these are dwarven cities. Scary. Maybe gaining a border was not so smart. They're gonna kill us now. Look, they got all the troops on the border. We're a little scared we will get attacked. We could get a fort from this mission, and that would be very nice if they do attack us. But that will use all our money, and we're currently running a deficit. So we could be in kind of a loan spiral if we did that. We also won't be able to afford any troops unless we take even more loans. So another thing we could do is we could try and develop some more in our capital. That will also give us feudalism, which will be really nice. So that's probably what we want to do. We'll put some more development in our capital and hope we can get to a positive income even while running colonies. If we can, then I think we'll press the mission to get the fort, and that gives us a small chance if they do attack us. We could also exploit, although I usually don't like exploiting, but since we're developing an institution, I think that is probably worth it. Exploit, get it back. And they immediately declare the war. Oh no! We won't get the fort in time. We can hire these mercenaries, which we will have to do. That will bring us to 16. Nowhere near enough. I mean, we are just dead, aren't we? How are we supposed to do that? What's that general? That general is a 0011. That is at least something. Have to go way above our force limit here, I think. Probably need full 25. They have more discipline, less defensiveness, more morale. I think we will take this mission, because if somehow we can gain the fort up, that will just be really nice. And even if the fort isn't up, we can do this mission in a year once we can put in defensive edict, and that will give us manpower and a cheaper discipline advisor, which we will definitely need to win this. So I think we will do these two missions to gain the discipline, gain the manpower from this mission. And then the fort won't help us because it won't be up in town. Let's have a look at it. We have 50 crowns and we own Shaftukad. Mire Maw's influence inches along the trackless swamps of the other Skirkol clans. And as we've moved forward, so too have our foes. The province of Shaftukad, a major ingress to our core lands, borders Avlurmok, the west mouth from which the little things pour out. Not just the pliable but industrious goblins, no, the orcs. Little tusk ogres with dark skin seeking challenge, and the squat, hairy dwarfs pining for a home long ruined, and the occasional cluster of scaly kobolds lamenting their slain or slumbering dragons. As delicious as these interlopers can be, their organized bands, vainglorious armies, and skittering tribes plague our new ogre settlements in the region. To deter these unwelcome visitors, Chief Shrug proposes a simple plan: dig a grand trench camouflage from the little things along the shallow marches in the region, set Skirkol soldiers to keep watch, and then smash the squishy heads of any foolish enough to traverse the deadly boundary. Only then can our swamps breathe easy. That will give us a cheaper fort, 50 crowns. Normally they cost 200, so that's pretty nice. In our capital, we are of course now losing a lot more money because we have hired mercs and built new troops. I mean, we have to do that. Basically, I think we'll have to build troops until we have 25 and then go fight them. This is really good defensive terrain. The dwarf city is built to be defended. We should be gaining ticking war score, right? Oh no, it's war superiority because it's a monstrous conquest. We can do another admin development. We definitely want to take tech before we fight them. Means it would be really nice to get feudalism. Oh, they're also building up 25 troops now. Can't win that. Use some money because of the mages. That's 23. And then 25. Finish the colony. I really don't want to waste the extra colony we have. We have an extra colonist and we have a lot of extra global settler increase. I don't want to waste our time. We probably should just ignore the loans. Does feel kind of crazy to do though. Not just sitting there. I want to spend our Diplo points on development, but I might want to do one more admin click first. Okay, now they marched in, divided their forces. Could be our chance. I think we have to try to fight it. But since we have to do that, we should probably put in the defensive edict and get this mission. So now we are neighboring the owner of Anbennar, that's the central province, and we have at least 90% of the force limit. We know we are way above, and we have defensive edict in our capital. So let's read it. Qatar. The little orcs with dark skin and tiny tusks cry out from the mountain's maw, issuing challenges without cease. Mire Maw hungers to answer, but the Nocturki, despite their size, fight tenaciously and in great, overwhelming charges. How can we battle in their dark caverns, hungry and cramped, against a defensive foe so resolute and reckless? A squat ogre groans of a plan. Let them attack first. Several clan leaders, blinded by hunger and bloodlust, issue protest, but the Squircle explains further. Let them tire in the muck and break against our Qatar or Valley Citadel, and then strike when opportune, routing their forces and pursuing their stragglers back into the mountain. Not only will they lead us through the caverns like fern munchers through the vale, but they'll sustain our warriors in the unknown dark. Chief Shrug finds this prospect of food and conquest delicious. That gives us Qatar in our capital, giving 15% local tax, 25 local manpower, and 15% defensiveness. And we also gain a cheaper discipline advisor. I really want to hire him because we are fighting now. Be able to immediately fight them again. Wait, they have an own territory bonus in addition to the -2 we get. That's real tough. Looks like we can barely eat. Oh, God. And they killed Gas Poison Blade. I mean, we need a general. Actually, we can just follow them. We can't even see what they're doing. We totally spy on them, by the way. Do we make Shrek into a general or the heir? Let's make Shrek into a general. Oh, he's really good. Shrek. Amazing. Amazing general. I don't want these guys to leave and cut us off. I also can't. Oh. Well, that's what I didn't want to have happen. Never mind. Let's send that colonist over here. We may want to subjugate these, because we need subjects for our religion. We need 3 subjects. They have 17,000, so I think we can't do anything about this. Okay, damage. Oh, God! That colony just got real badly destroyed. Holy moly. Right? Oh. Wait, they're under attack again. Vast horde of cave goblins have attacked Avlurmak. Our defenses are being put to test, so they will not hold favor. If we are to destroy this menace, decisive action must be taken in the defense of our hold. And here we can gain fort defense. Actually, almost always take siege ability, but I want to just take fort defense. And that gave us... Oh, that gave us a siege tick that we needed to get the capital. Funny interactions. I think we have to deal with that. And then if the orcs try to siege it back, we will have to try and fight them. These guys can arrive on the 17th. These guys can arrive on the 18th. Profiteering in Darvad and Hatsvi. Let's protect our trade. Orcs are trying to take back their capital. On this province as well. Would they agree to this? They would. So we shall definitely send this before they unoccupy anything, or they change their minds. We'll take all their lands and 200 crowns. We gain the Cronium Crown, even stripped bare of the gems that once adorned it. The bare Dwarf Crown remains a fearsome sight, adorned with platinum surfacing thanks to the dwarves of Haraz al Doom. It was made from Cronium, the heaviest metal in existence. Truly, it is a masterful piece of work. After we located it, our smiths have stored it as best they were able, and it will make a fine addition to our vaults. And who knows, if we are able to locate all of the 7 gems that once studded its surface, we would have a convincing claim to the entirety of the Serpent Spine. An intriguing item. That gives us 10 prestige, and we also gain Gemless Dwarf Crown until the end of the game, giving us 0.25 prestige. And they also had a trophy pile, the Orcs of Oh, it changed name. We call it Amatarthal. The Orcs of Amatarthal have built a massive pile of trophies, gold, and other valuables in what was once their throne room. Time to do something about it. Move this junk out of the way. The hold will be devastated, and we gain 50 monarch points and 200 crowns. We gain... wasn't that 100? Mill points, which is good because we want to take mill tech on time if we can. And we also now have provinces with feudalism and Renaissance. The orcs, they probably developed something, and we still have to fight all of these orcish armies. We need to convert them. That will take a very long time. We gained a swamp load of money, so we can now embrace feudalism and then take tech right away. Let's just do that. We take the mill tech. We can drill armies and we have more morale. We should also be making a lot more money now from trades. Oh, we should totally do this, so they become cheaper to call. Sneaky goblins in government. Our administration is seeing an unusual influx of reports of successful application of our taxation and recruitment quotas. It appears it's the goblins who are to be commended. Influential power holders, magnates, and community leaders of rather vague occupations who cooperate with our officials as per our practice of rewarding private support with special privileges and exemptions. There seems to be a connection with their presence and the lack of complaints to the enforcement of our policies. Although one can't argue with their positive influence to our administration, there is an equal amount of complaints of strange accidents regarding gunpowder, toxins, and supposed sabotage happening to less cooperative elites. To the point, some are starting to suspect us of using goblin cartels as mercenaries. Well, if they get the job done, who cares? We like goblins, and if they help us, and we help them, surely that's not so bad. Drak became a strict drill master, which is a nice trait. We'll leave the wounded here, and I think we should sacrifice the mercs. They arrive on the 12th. We can wait one day and arrive on the 13th, allowing the mercs to take most of the damage. And we will do that again. Mercs arrived on the 2nd, and the rest of the army arrived on the 3rd. And now we're done with the mercs. We should be in a good spot now to pay our loans. Definitely want to haul this land. Let's start with the central province of Amatarthal. Kind of interesting to see all these ogre names. We are above our colonial limit. Don't think we can afford that. And now our heir is a free thinker. Yeah, he's kind of goated. I quite like him. Expansionist is also very useful in our current situation. I think that is all that's going to be happening for a little while. Oh, we definitely want to unite the colonies. Okay. We can gain the Pike Square. Do that. make these guys a tributary. The only problem is we need to own everything. I think we have to hope they migrate back in. If they migrate back in, then we will make them a tributary. If they stay out here, we kill them. They migrated that way. This province is still part of the region. Now we can colonize behind them, and then maybe they will migrate further away. Tiny tools for tinier tools. Tink, clank, bang, zzz. Damn it! Sounds of industry and creation have rung in an ogre's ear like music ever since we labored under the giant's yoke as makers and builders. When we erected their homes, beautified their cities, and paved their roads, we did so with their imperial bounty, ample crafting materials, architectural genius and oversight, and unbreakable tools. Though not all monuments to their greatness still stand, the work we did, the labor our ancestors accomplished, was without peer. But that time is long, long gone. In the current age of small peoples, cutting-edge tools are rarely ogre-sized, leaving our brightest minds impatiently waiting for impractical or custom-made intermediaries to bridge the gap between teensy and wieldy. In our recent past, we simply made do, although making do often meant doing without. To stand atop the world as the greatest artisans, we need a homemade tools industry. Costs be damned. Should that prove too expensive, we could also commission the small folk crafters to assist us, but that would require their cooperation and motivation, be it coin or fear. What should our course of action be to alleviate this hardware deficiency? We can sponsor homemade industry for appropriately sized tools, or we can see who needs these tiny tools. We will definitely sponsor the industry. This is very good. 50 crowns, which we have a nice little bank of. We're losing the money, but we can afford to spend 50 in order to gain 75 of each monarch power and 5% tech cost and innovative negate for 20 years. Very good. Do want to take some techs. Early Carrick. I don't know how applicable that is for us. I mean, the swamp is flooded, but I don't think we will be building any Carricks anytime soon. But the 15 global settler increase is very nice. We finished conjuration. We will immediately conjure supplies to improve our colonies, and then we will study more magic. Should we try to get these? I think the 10 regiments is just too good. Let's enforce the magocratic customs, because that will make the mages happier. And then we can summon the Diet, see what they want. They want to fire the military advisor, and you want us to develop this. If it was Diplo points, I would be more happy, but it's admin, and we really need the admin to core. I also don't want to fire the advice. Speaking of cores, let's call Upper Province and the Glass Province. Oh, we actually have enough to call all three. Good, good, good. Interesting. The state maintenance is actually very high for these provinces. They don't make any money because of devastation and not accepted culture, owned by non-subterranean race, intolerance. So we're actually losing money. We should be getting money from trade, but there's not that much money in this trade now. It's interesting that our loan size went up so much, even though I don't think we're making very much more money, because all those provinces, they don't make anything. They moved back. I hope they moved inside. Skills of the chiefess. Florida's been well known for her interest in the military. Oh, these are strict chiefess. And now she also reduces the military cost. Very nice. No, she's not going to have that much work because the next one requires the Renaissance. We'll try and develop it here. Go deal with them. And of course, that means we have to go through corridor of orcs. Nasty orcs. But we should be fine. Hopefully. It's time to repay the loan. Let's just repay them all. I hope our reserve of money will last until these cores are done. Okay, Siegebreaker went back into the mountain. It's very good for us. We might be able to finish this colony and then start a new one here so they won't do it again. This colony is done now. That means we can repair the hole. Oh, that's why the maintenance is so high. Probably have to do that. Just wait until the month take. I want to see if this province will make us any money at all. Looks like the answer is no. It won't. Intolerance, non-accepted culture, owned by non-subterranean race. There's just no money left. That's fine. Totally fine. I think we do want to repair it, even though it cost us 100. Okay, we lost the cheap advisor. That is quite bad. Now finish this colony. Start a new one up here. Gain a little bit of money. Oh, you're making money? Oh, that's because we didn't have a colony that month. We do have a tech advantage versus these guys. And we do have more troops. We could make them into a tributary. What is this? Comet sighted. Lose 2 stab. Why do we lose 2 stab from that? Oh. Never mind then. Finish that colony. Let's send one up there. We can gain a cheaper fort defense or trade guy. See what we got. Got trade guy. That is probably worth it. Now the calls are done and we can do this mission. All the provinces in the Almdir area are owned and caught by us. The Grand Feast. The tusked little orcs fled for their lives and retreated up the Gavnok and Avlomok, just as we anticipated. Pursued through hallways spacious enough to fit our girth. Their meagre defenses failed to stop our march, even as we reached the grand holes of the scattered dwarves. The lavish structures, cluttered with ruin and debris, did not slow us down. District by district we found the defenders, squashed their leaders, and left their warriors broken, squatting in a ruined throne room, wreathed in Nocturg art and trophies. Our chief Shrug scans the huddled and defiant faces of the vanquished. Mire Maw hungers for a taste of the spoils. But even broken, the determination burning in the eyes of these little orcs, these Nocturgi, reveals something more. Strength beyond size. Just as we spared the Yrtkroti and allowed them to become respectable fern munchers, our chief's mind wonders. What use are these orcs to Mire Maw? That causes the event Grand Amatarthal Feast. The smell of livestock cooked whole fills the entire hold. Thousands of cows, sheep, rams, aurochs, wargs, catoblepas, wolves and pigs have all been slaughtered, and orcish servants now work at spits, rotating their unbutchered bodies over open flames. Fern munchers mix lichen sauces for seasoning, and swamp brewers hawk their swill from stills across Amatarthal. It is paradise for an ogre, and disgusting for almost anyone else. Chief Shrug holds the highest seat in the city that was once a capital for ancient dwarves, and later a capital for foolish orcs. Those orcs now surround him, watching with concern as he guzzles the flesh of a recently killed ogre. The ogre had been a powerful and incredible warrior, and had been slain in the final battle to take the hold. The orcs could never understand how happy the ogre would have been to be consumed by his lord, or at least, they couldn't understand right now. As the servants look on, full of fear and disgust, Shrug must make a decision. The orc's strength must be brought into the Mire Maw. But how? Are the orcs to be thrown into the flames, rotated on the very spits that they were just working, their strength consumed by the ogres? Or shall they be kept alive, more useful as servants and fodder, taught the ways of the feast? We feast on fresh meat tonight. That makes all 4 of the provinces Mossmouth Ogre and Feast of the Gods. And we also gain 10% infantry combat ability and 5 Shark receive, but it will affect future mission rewards. And we lose 15 hunger, which is quite nice. Or we can say they will serve us, which will give us another event. Now, obviously, eating them is very tempting, right? I think it's designed to be tempting. Orcish ferocity modifier is very good, and changing the culture and religion of these provinces to Mossmouth Ogre is also very good. I think we will still have them owned by a non-subterranean race, but we just need a majority of goblins here to get rid of that. That would be very, very good. But that's actually why this option intrigues me perhaps even more. It's kind of like you get something really good now, or you get something unknown later on. Surely that later on bonus will be even better, hopefully. So I'm tempted to do this. They will serve us. Now we can make them a tributary again. Let's do it. Need to deal with these guys first. we can also make 2 daggers our tributaries. Let's make them our tributary. I don't think there's a reason to use this. The war goal will be different. Let's just use the normal one. It's less aggressive expansion. And they have a 4-2-4. Fighting them in the caves. Found iron. Oh, they died to the natives. That's bad luck. Water shortage. Lucky. This Sprite Dragon from the future. I didn't comment at the time, but I think we made a mistake here when we turned this area into a state. These provinces don't make any income yet, and they won't for a while. They have a lot of issues. I thought one of the issues was the autonomy. We need to make it a state before we can fix that, but making it a state also increases the maintenance cost, and there's really no rush to do that part first, because even if we make them a state and they go to 0 autonomy, they're still not going to make us any money, and I didn't realize that at the time. Hey, they entered our area. You're not allowed to do that, Dark Scales. Okay, we'll send one here, because then Dark Scales can only go one way, and that's out of the swamp. It's goblins in government once again. Old battlefield. An expedition to Iglogerd has stumbled upon what first appeared to be an open-air mass grave. In fact, the remains of a battlefield. It is littered with countless squat skeletons of dwarves and tusked skulls of orcs. From what we can piece together, there was no clear victor. Both sides seemed to have lost the battle. The survivors were clearly too few or too exhausted to loot the corpses, which are now ripe for plunder. Look for valuables. They don't need them anymore. Gain 16 targets, that is good. Small band-aid on our financial problems. We can take some loans. It's not the end of the world. Finish that colony. Let's send them over here so we can march through here easier. Should probably send an explorer. 2 siege pips is very nice. At this point, mostly I just want to find a trade node so we can send the extra merchant somewhere. They plead for aid. Give them a little bit of money. That's actually kind of a lot of money for us. Okay. There's kind of a lot of trolls up here. Take the inflation. We need admin points badly. Let's ask the Diet. You want us to spend even more admin points on development? We do want stability. Okay, we got... Let's just deal with these guys. The Ogrillons. We have begat children with the orcs, standing physically in between ourselves and their other parents in stature. They bear our frames but orcish tusks. They are muscular, lean, and powerful. They will always be stronger than our servants, but they will also be shorter and weaker than us. They are foreign to their masters and to their other parents, and yet we have come to rely on them. There are no greater diplomats between ourselves and our servants than those born of both ogre and orc. Long ago, when we were kings of Gavamrik, the Frost Giants appointed us the liaisons between the Frost Giants and the Giantkin. We had been sculpted by the Giants, and they trusted us. And so they allowed us to become not only the sculptors of Earth ourselves, but also emissaries. We brought order to the other Giantkin. We kept them in line, and we were honored as the elite of our kind. We now follow in this grand tradition. We have sculpted our own new species, made of orc and ogre. We have created ogre kind, a people inferior to ourselves, but greater than all the rest. With our blood and our power, they shall lord over our servants and make them obey. They will always exist as people between kin, and they will be grateful for their status as overseers. May they exhibit the strength and cunning of the ogres. That gives us the Ogrillons at 10 the eld of the game, 10% manpower recovery speed, and 7.5% force limit modifier. That's not bad. I think the other modifier was better, and it also would have helped us a lot in our current economy. But remember, it also affects the rewards we gain from future missions, so it's not so easy to make the comparison. We need to press this button twice. We're almost done repairing here. Now we are making 0.03. We restored the Amatathal hold, 0.03 production. And we can convert it. Still losing a lot of money, but eventually we might gain something. And here we get the options for the extraplaners. We will also study conjuration again. Last time we went with the artillery in the last campaign. That was very, very powerful. We should probably just do that again. We're not really a cavalry nation. In fact, we have no cavalry. Oh, what was that? Chief Shrak became industrious, which reduced, never content to rest, and through increasingly long workdays, our ruler is constantly managing the details of every province in the realm to maximize the output and collected revenue for all resources under state control. That is pretty good. It is unfortunately not so good that we can make money. We're still losing a lot of money. There's a mission now. Have an army equal to 30,000 and manpower more than 50%. Subjugate the depths. No matter how bright our patch of swampy heaven is, we stew our pot surrounded by rapacious little things. Dealing with these threats occupies our fledgling nation's greatest minds, and so Mire Maw grumbles on our history for strategies. Recalling our predecessor, Gavamrek, we dread that dark age. Ogre devoured ogre, clan fought clan, and the weaklings merely poked and prodded without cease. Looking further back to when the giants ruled us, they fell from power and splendor, not from without, but from within. Aside from lacking a keen eye, what enabled the Riskigori to claim the world in their titanic grasp? Well, they allowed us to skim about the edges, not unlike the goblin fern munchers. When we thundered about against their wishes, they snapped us back into shape. Strangely similar to the Naktoki, an idea bubbles like marsh pitch. By pacifying the little things in the mountains, we fulfill the cycle of Riskigor and Skurkol, of giant and ogre, of subjugator and subjugated, save for one key detail. We anticipate betrayal as it burgeons, rally the ogres, rouse the troops, for the mountains teem with tiny boots ready for Mire Maw's suzerainty, and this enables the use of the forced tributary casus belli on any nation with their capital in the Western Drora for 100 years. So now we no longer need to border them. Could, for example, do it on the kobolds right away, and these dwarves. We are close to the cap on military. We are capped on our military points. It was a mission that required some amount of development. So I think it was 6 in all of those provinces. We almost spent 600 ducats just because this state is so damn expensive. Heir died. Farkle, no. Chica is the new heir. 7 years old. Fistful of coin. Bellicose voices clog the halls of our capital, sapping Chief Shrak's patience and attention. As two disparate parties stand before the chief divided by a line of guards, they finally simmer down, allowing the first group comprising a colorful mismatch of small people to speak. Is this how Mire Maw treats its daring soldiers of fortune? We braved the unknown and deadly for equal shares of all treasure. But when we completed our quest, these, the merchant cast a lurid eye at the proposing part before biting their tongue. They reneged on our promised dues. What shite! The second group, a cadre of ogre warriors, chucked nonchalantly at their lesser former partners. My chief, it is the law that all equal shares are done by the fistful. Is it our fault they have such diminutive hands? Perhaps these foreigners should have spent a moment learning our customs before doing business in our lands. They walked half as far and carried half as much during our contract. By all accounts, they have been compensated fairly. In fact, they should pay us a higher share for our labor, and the curses and hollers resumed between the irate parties. But Chief Shrug considers the conundrum. True, ogre tradition for fair shares involve literal fistfuls at a time, but even with the adventurers unaware of this practice, they surely are still entitled to equitable booty. Who comes out on top in this disagreement? Ogres, which gives merc maintenance, cost, and discipline, and the monstrous tribe are angry, or fistful means a fistful, no matter how puny, which the tribes will like and will make our mercs cheaper and worse. Well, we don't have any mercs. Well, we do actually have some, because these beings of fire and rage count as mercs, and they are free. It's actually just a benefit, so probably this one is the best. Let's take it. Don't really want that rest. I don't really care about the mages. We can't get them loyal anyway. Okay, we restored this. Now we make a tiny bit of money from it. And here we have the dwarves of Cluran Blue Shield. I think fighting them, make them a tributary, would be quite nice. 17,000 dwarves. I mean, we have a lot more than that. Let's try and make them our tributary. Yeah, let's take another loan. Finish this. And this one we do need to prevent the dark scales from getting in again. Ooh, 50% national tax modifier. That's not too bad. Gaining 2 extra development. Also quite nice. Let's take development. Tributary and money. Okay, British unity increased very slightly. Maybe it will increase bit more. Yes, that actually made a pretty big difference finishing this colony. Now this province needs 8 development and a fort. I don't think we can make it any cheaper except for the edict. 2 of these, 4 of these. We somehow have to find money for a fort. Just have to remind myself that as soon as we fix the problems with these 4 provinces, we are going to be making a ton of money.